Birdwatching or birding means the activity of observing birds. Birdwatchers may observe birds by their naked eye, by using visual enhancement devices, or by listening to bird sounds. Most birdwatchers pursue this activity for recreational or social reasons. The terms birding and birdwatching are today used by some interchangeably, although some participants prefer birding, partly because it includes the auditory aspects of enjoying birds. Generally, self-described birders perceive themselves to be more versed in minutiae such as identification, distribution, migration timing, and habitat usage. Whereas these dedicated birders may often travel specifically in search of birds, birdwatchers have been described by some enthusiasts as having a more limited scope, perhaps not venturing far from their own yards or local parks to view birds. Many birders maintain a life list, that is, a list of all of the species they have seen in their life, usually with details about the sighting such as date and location. The criteria for the personal recording of these lists are very subjective. Some birders count species they have identified audibly, while others only record species that they have identified visually. Initially, birdwatching was largely restricted to developed countries such as the United Kingdom and the United States of America. Since the second half of the 20th century, an increasing number of people in developing countries have engaged in this activity. Birdwatching tourism is considered to be one of the fastest-growing nature-based tourism sectors in the world, often involving well-educated or wealthy travelers with specific interests in the places they visit. One of the expectations of ecotourism is that the travels of birders to a place will contribute to the improvement of the local economy, ensuring that the environment is valued and protected. Birdwatchers contribute to conservation, helping build and disseminate environmental knowledge by participating in citizen science. However, birding can bring about an increased penetration of ecosystem services that are perceived as birdwatchers' indispensable attributes. By their presence and obstinacy, birdwatchers affect the attractiveness of the breeding, migration, or roosting sites for birds, flush birds, and otherwise increase the pressure on birds and their habitats. Many birders occupy themselves with observing local species, but may also make specific trips to observe birds in other locales. The most active times of the year for birding in temperate zones are during the spring or fall migrations, when the greatest variety of birds may be seen. Early mornings are typically better as the birds are more active and vocal, making them easier to spot. Certain locations such as a local patch of forest, wetland, and coast may be favored according to the location and season. Sea watching, or pelagic birding, is a type of birding where observers based at a coastal watch point, such as a headland, watch birds flying over the sea. Weather plays an important role in the occurrence of rare birds. Birdwatchers may take part in censuses of bird populations and migratory patterns, which are sometimes specific to individual species. This kind of citizen science can assist in identifying environmental threats to the well-being of birds or, conversely, in assessing outcomes of environmental management initiatives intended to ensure the survival of at-risk species or to encourage the breeding of species for aesthetic or ecological reasons. Because of their accessibility and ubiquity, birds are a useful tool for environmental education and awareness of environmental issues. Birdwatching can increase respect for nature and awareness of the fragility of ecosystems. Photography has always been a part of birding. The advent of affordable digital cameras, which can be used in conjunction with a spotting scope or binoculars, have made this a much more widespread aspect of the hobby. The development of more compact and affordable digital video cameras has made them more attractive and accessible to the birding community. The ability to capture and reproduce not only the visual characteristics of a bird, but also its patterns of movement and its sound, has wide applications for birders in the field. With the advent of the World Wide Web, birders have been using the internet to convey information. This can be via mailing lists, forums, bulletin boards, web-based databases, and other social media. Messages can range from the serious to trivial, notifying others of rarities, questioning the taxonomy or identification of a species, discussing field guides and other resources, asking for advice and guidance, or organizing groups to help save habitats.